The heat hit my face even before I got out of the Jeep. A dense, sticky heat that smelled of burnt wood and something else. Something ancient. We were high up, very high. The Buddhist temple, or what was left of it, clung to the mountainside like a flaming eagle's nest. My cameraman, Ben, was already setting up his equipment, oblivious to the chaos. I, however, felt a strange mix of duty and fascination. Flames danced over the golden roofs, devouring carved wood with an almost obscene fury. It was a tragedy, of course, but hypnotic. And then I saw him. A firefighter, silhouetted against the orange inferno. He was large, solid, moving with a calm that defied the surroundings. He wasn't wearing full gear, just heavy-duty pants and a soaked t-shirt clinging to his torso like a second skin. His attention was fixed on the hose, on the powerful stream trying to tame the fire. There was an almost animalistic concentration in his posture. I approached, microphone in hand, feeling the heat intensify. The air vibrated. "Excuse me, got a second?" I yelled over the roar. He turned, just slightly, enough to look at me. His eyes, under the makeshift helmet he wore, were light, surprisingly calm. "Not the best time now, gorgeous," he said, his voice hoarse from the smoke, but with a hint of amusement. He called me gorgeous. Normally, I would have been annoyed. Professionalism first. But here, surrounded by destruction and adrenaline, it sounded different. Intimate. I pressed on, moving closer. "I just want to know what happened, how it started." The smell of sweat and smoke emanating from him was strangely intoxicating. He didn't look away from the fire, but I felt his awareness of me. Lightning, they say. Bad luck for the monks. And for us. His hand, large and calloused, adjusted the nozzle of the hose. Such control he had over that power. I wondered what else he controlled like that. A beam fell nearby, sending sparks flying. Instinctively, he grabbed my arm and pulled me away. His touch was firm, electric. "Watch your step," he growled, but his eyes lingered on mine a moment longer than necessary. There was something more than concern there. He released my arm, but the heat from his hand lingered on my skin. I felt a blush creep up my neck. What was happening to me? Ben signaled me. We had to film. I composed myself. "Thanks. I'm Laura, by the way. Channel 8. He nodded, returning to his task. Dan. Just that. Dan. A short, strong name. Like him. I started my report, describing the devastation, the heroic effort. But my voice sounded a little shaky. And my eyes kept drifting back to Dan. The fire resisted, especially in an area of the temple that seemed more intact, an inner sanctuary protected by thick walls. Dan and another firefighter prepared to enter. "We need to make sure no one's left inside," I heard him say. "I'm going with you," I said, almost without thinking. Ben looked at me like I was crazy. Maybe I was a little. Dan looked me up and down. A crooked smile appeared beneath the soot. "This isn't a TV set, Laura. It's dangerous." "I know, but it's my job, and I want to see. I want to document the effort." The excuse sounded weak even to me. He hesitated, then sighed. "Okay, but stay close to me. Not an inch away. And do exactly as I say." I felt a shiver despite the heat. Not an inch away. The order resonated with a double meaning that quickened my pulse. The other firefighter went in first. Then Dan grabbed my hand, not my arm this time, my hand, and pulled me into the smoky darkness. Inside, the air was thick, almost unbreathable. The heat was suffocating. Shadows danced with the light from our flashlights. There were Buddhist statues, some fallen, others covered in soot but intact, watching us serenely from the chaos. Dan didn't let go of my hand. His grip was my anchor in that inferno. I could feel the contained strength in his fingers. We moved cautiously. The crunch of our steps on the debris was the only sound besides the distant crackling. The other firefighter shouted, "Clear over here." His voice sounded muffled. Dan nodded in the gloom. We stopped in the center of the room. A huge reclining Buddha statue took up most of the space. Miraculously, it was almost untouched. Dan released my hand to sweep his flashlight over the statue. "Incredible," he murmured. His voice was softer now, almost reverent. I felt the loss of his touch like a void. I moved a little closer to him, unconsciously seeking his warmth, his presence. The air in here was strangely still, as if the fire respected this place. But the danger was still latent. Dan turned towards me. Our faces were very close. I could see the sweat glistening on his forehead, the soot on his eyelashes. "Was the risk worth it, reporter?" he asked quietly. His breath smelled of smoke and something purely masculine. I swallowed hard. "Yes," I whispered. I wasn't just talking about the story. He seemed to understand. A spark glinted in his light eyes. He raised a hand, slowly, and brushed away a strand of hair stuck to my cheek with sweat. His fingers brushed against my skin. It was like an electric shock. I held my breath, aware of every millimeter separating us. The outside world, the fire, Ben, my career, everything faded away. There was only him, his intense gaze, his unexpected touch. His thumb caressed my cheekbone, leaving a trail of soot. A temporary tattoo of our forbidden closeness. "You're unexpected, Channel 8 Laura," he murmured, his voice a rough caress in the stillness. I leaned towards him, drawn by an invisible force. Our lips were about to. What were we doing? A loud crash outside broke the spell. The ceiling above us creaked ominously. The danger was real, immediate. Dan reacted instantly. He grabbed me again, this time by the waist, and pulled us away from under the unstable area. His arm around my waist was like a steel band. I felt small and strangely safe in his embrace. "Out. Now," he yelled to the other firefighter, and then to me. "Let's go." His firefighter mode was back, but the electricity was still there. We stumbled out of the sanctuary back into the chaos outside. The fresh air, though heavy with smoke, was a relief. He didn't let go until we were a safe distance away. Then, his hands dropped, but his gaze remained fixed on me. Ben ran towards me. "Laura, are you okay? Oh my God, what did you do?" His concern was genuine, but I felt like I was in another world. "I'm fine, Ben. We got incredible footage," I said, trying to sound normal. But my heart was pounding for reasons beyond just the danger. Dan was already back in the fray, directing his team, controlling the hose with that mastery that had mesmerized me. It was as if what happened inside, in the stillness of the sanctuary, had been a smoke-induced fever dream. But the faint soot smudge on my cheek was real. And the feeling of his fingers, of his arm, was too. We finished filming. The fire was starting to subside, thanks to men like Dan. Men who fought heat with more heat. As we packed up the gear, I looked for him. He was talking to an official, his posture relaxed now, but alert. Our eyes met over the official's shoulder. Just for a second, but it was enough. There was a silent question in his gaze, and an unspoken answer in mine. Something had begun amidst the ashes. He smiled slightly, a smile just for me, before turning back to his conversation. My heart skipped a beat. "Let's go, Laura," Ben said, gently pulling my arm. I nodded, but my mind was still there, with the firefighter named Dan. As the jeep descended the mountain, I watched the flickering lights of the temple dwindle. Would I see him again? I had his name, Dan, and he had my station, Channel 8. In the digital age, that was almost like having a phone number. I touched my cheek again. The soot was almost gone, but the memory of the touch burned. Was it just the adrenaline? The shared danger? Or was there something more in the way he controlled the fire, and me? I didn't know, but a part of me, a part one thought was dormant, had awakened in that burning temple. I thought about my normal life. My apartment, my job, my complicated relationship status back home. And suddenly, everything seemed gray compared to the vibrant orange of the fire and the intense blue of Dan's eyes. This was just the beginning. I felt it in my bones. A much more personal story had just begun to be written. And I, the reporter always seeking objective truth, was now caught in a subjective and dangerous narrative. An exotic adventure, yes. But with a firefighter in Thailand, who would have thought? I smiled in the darkness. The heat I felt wasn't just from the fire. It was a different flame, one that Dan had ignited within me. Tomorrow, I would edit the news report. But tonight was for replaying every glance, every touch, every unspoken word.